Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing the 1987 film Hard Ticket to Hawaii, starring Donna Spear, Hope Marie Carlton, Ron Moss, and Rodrigo Obregon. An overview of the movie? Undercover drug enforcement agent Donna Hamilton and her partner Taryn Kendal stumble upon a box of diamonds that's being used as payment for a drug deal. They take the diamonds to their base of operations only to anger the local drug boss, Seth Romero. Romero and his goons raid the home base to get the diamonds back, only to end up having Donna shoot Seth in the face. Wounded and angered, Seth Romero sets out to get his revenge. The pros of this movie? First of all, they made sure that the audience knew just what kind of movie this was. Even before the opening credits, less than 5 minutes into the movie, it was obvious just what kind of movie it was. Because the lead female, one of the lead protagonist females, was topless less than 5 minutes into the movie. And it really drove home the fact that this was one of those movies with beautiful women occasionally getting naked, and they shoot guns and they blow stuff up. It made that abundantly clear in less than 5 minutes of the movie. So you would know right away before the opening credits if this was a kind of movie you would want to watch or not. You would know this right away. And that was beautiful. I loved that. The cinematography in this movie, oh my God, it was just beautiful. They actually filmed this movie in Molokai, Hawaii, and it was just gorgeous. The scenery and the backdrops and everything they had, working with the local environment and everything like that, it was just beautiful. The scenery and the cinematography in this movie was just gorgeous. I loved it. Also, Donna Spear and Hope Marie Carlton, the two of them just worked together beautifully. Their chemistry was amazing. Donna Spear played Donna Hamilton, and Hope Marie Carlton played Taryn Kendal, and the two of them just played off each other beautifully. You know, Donna Spear played this character who was just the ultimate badass female character, but she was also feminine. She was the best representation of a strong female lead that I have ever seen in any movie. Which, considering the nature of this movie, is really freaking ironic. You know, this is a movie where the women are just there to look good and blow stuff up, and she was the best representation of a strong female character that I have ever seen? Who the hell would have guessed it? And Taryn Kendal was this innocent smartass. She was still a citizen. She wasn't actually a drug enforcement agent. She was in witness protection, and she was helping Donna keep and maintain her cover as flying this cargo plane. And the two of them just played off each other beautifully. I loved it. They did a great job. Also, in this movie, they had just a great variety of characters. Just everyone was different, and just the kind of characters you would never expect to see. Prime example, one of these characters was a guy who was infiltrating this restaurant. But guess what? He was infiltrating the restaurant by dressing and posing as a woman. And before I saw this movie, I never would have guessed that that female character was actually a guy dressed as a woman. I didn't see it coming, although I just realized I kind of give a spoiler, but it's not really a huge plot device, so oh well, moving on. That's an acceptable spoiler, moving on with the rest of the review. The variety of characters in this movie was just beautiful and fantastic, and I absolutely loved it! The cons of this movie? Well, let's be honest, the acting in this movie was pretty freaking stiff. When you consider that all the lead female characters in this movie were recruited from the pages of Playboy and Penthouse magazines, yeah, their acting is stiff. And when you think that all the men in this movie, all the lead men in this movie got their jobs based on their appearances and their looks and being attractive, yeah, the acting was stiff. Everyone in this movie, all the leads, all the people who spent the most time on screen, got their jobs by being traditionally attractive, or at least what was considered at the time in 1987 to be traditionally attractive. That's why they got the jobs. And it worked for this type of movie. You're banking on eye candy, so you want all of these people to be attractive. You want the attractive women for the male audience, and you want the attractive men to kind of pull in some sort of a female audience. So the attractiveness factor worked in its favor, but as a result, the acting in this movie was pretty stiff. Also, a lot of times in this movie, the script tried for humor. And a lot of those times, the humor fell flat. You know, there were some jokes that worked. I mean, for some reason, it was like the women could deliver the jokes, but the men couldn't. And I never laughed at anything that a male said. There was one joke that it took me 8 times watching the movie to finally understand. That's a bad joke! It wasn't funny any of the times I watched it. Even after I understood it, it wasn't funny. It's a bad joke! Get rid of that joke. Seriously, it doesn't need to be in the movie. Lose it. Moving on. This movie also had this side story about a snake who was infected with toxins or some nonsense. That didn't need to be in the movie. It was useless and pointless and meaningless, completely irrelevant. Did not need to be in this movie. Get rid of that freaking snake. It just takes up time and money. Lose it. Moving on. This movie also had a really shallow paint-by-numbers plot. Let's be realistic. The best description I've ever heard of this movie is that there's not a lot of plot to get in the way of the movie. That is a very accurate statement. But at the same time, if you just pay attention to the movie, you'll know what's going on. This is an idiot-proof story. Nothing deep, very shallow, nothing you really have to think about. Just pay attention to it, and you'll know what's going on. They spoon feed you the plot and the story. The best action scene in the movie? That would have to be kind of towards the end of the movie. Seth Romero's gang of hoodlums and thieves and drug dealers and whatever have kidnapped one of the drug enforcement agents and taken them off to Seth's little compound thingy-mabobber. Anyway, the rest of the drug enforcement agents band together with their weapons and guns and knives and stuff and rocket launchers, and they just go to town. They just ram this place and invade it. Gunfire, explosions, people dying, fistfights, and everything. It's just gorgeous. Lots of explosions, lots of gun battles. It's just a beautiful, beautiful action scene. My overall thoughts on the movie? This movie knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't make any apologies for it. It's also one of those movies that's very polarizing. People are either going to love it or they're going to hate it, and I can understand both sides of the argument. Personally, I love this movie, and I give it 2 thumbs up. If you enjoy movies with beautiful women shooting guns and blowing stuff up, chances are you've already seen this movie. But if for some reason you haven't seen it, you need to check out Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week. Also, if you have any recommendations for movies you would like me to review in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you and have a nice day. It's a hard ticket to Hawaii. It's not paradise all the time.